Took 2 days full of rain delays, sunshine, but it's finally here Friday. The CAA title game between the two-seeded James Madison Dukes and the number 1 seed Hofstra Pride. The Pride are looking to return to the NCAA tournament, where the Dukes are looking to go back for the first time since 2009. Hello, welcome to CAA.TV. I'm Dan Savarino alongside Brian McDonald for this title matchup between the Hofstra Pride and the James Madison Dukes on a beautiful Friday afternoon here from Hofstra Softball Stadium. Thanks so much for joining us here on ComcastSportsNet.com as well as CAA.TV. Brian, we look at the tale of these two teams. Yesterday they played each other, both moving JMU to the losers bracket, and you saw Olivia Galati pitch a perfect game, her 5th in her career, which ties actually the NCAA record all time.
Yeah, Olivia Galati has just been great all 4 years that she's been here. The consistency is definitely something that she has shown, and she lives for these types of moments when she's in these pressure situations in the postseason, and definitely here in the CAA championship. She just lives to be in the pitcher circle and just pitch at that moment. When you look at how she did yesterday, one of the best batting teams in the CAA, pretty much the top one, just shutting them down one by one, as you can see on the replays, doing Jalen Ford and everything. And as you see how Hofstra did against Heather Kiefer, the starter for yesterday's matchup with James Madison and Hofstra. You see Tessa Ziemba hitting a homer, having 3 RBIs, going 3 for 4 on the day. You also see Jess Hirschbuell 1 for 4, 1 RBI for herself, and also Corinne Bailey getting on board too, 1 for 2 and 1 RBI of her own. So definitely an offensive effort, very good for Hofstra. But either way, JMU is here, and they won their chance to be in the CAA championship.
So the first pitch to Chloe Fitzgerald is grounded over to first base. Jalen Ford in the circle for the Dukes. This tournament overall, she has a 2.08 ERA, 7 strikeouts in the 13 innings she has pitched. She will be in the circle. Behind the plate will be Erica Field, Ceremony at third, Caitlin Sandy at shortstop, Hannah Hayes at second, and Caitlin Barber over at first base. Anna Clump in right, Morgan Heath in center, and Cassidy Clayton over in left field. For the Hofstra Pride, Chloe Fitzgerald led off, and now it's Tori Rocha, the All-CAA second-team selection this season, second baseman for Hofstra. After Rocha will be Ziemba, Trippi, Hirschbuell, Bigler, Hawkins, Bailey, and Galati.
Looking at Rocha's numbers for the season, batting .302 so far. She definitely did a very good job in last season's postseason matchups, whether it was in the CAA tournament or whether it was in the national regionals or the super regionals. She definitely was a clutch hitter in those situations. I wouldn't be surprised if she does pretty well today.
So Jalen Ford did not get the start yesterday. Kiefer ended up getting the start against the Pride. She ended up getting rocked yesterday after a few innings of work against this Hofstra Pride team that overall is batting .321 on the season as a team, and counts 1-2 now to Rocha. Rocha, a .302 hitter this season.
But Jalen Ford getting the start in the second year that JMU played, giving up only 6 hits and 1 earned run and fanning 3.
And a 1-2 pitch is lined down to left field. A nice play over there from Morgan Heath as she reins to her right to make the out. Second out of the inning. Jalen Ford, we didn't mention this yet, she was the CAA Rookie of the Year. A lot of honors going to both of these teams. CAA Player of the Year, Sarah Mooney for JMU. Pitcher of the Year, Olivia Galati for the Hofstra Pride. Rookie of the Year, Jalen Ford for JMU. And then the Coach of the Year, Bill Edwards out there. So these two teams always been 1-2, very close to actually going down to Harrisonburg and hosting down there, only missing it by a couple of games. Hofstra swept them up here against James Madison to end up almost solidifying their opportunity to be able to beat a host school once again.
You see Tessa Ziemba up right now. Not a single hit in the CAA tournament last season, but has done very well in this CAA tournament this year.
Ziemba so far a .571 hitter in this tournament in 2 games, 5 RBIs, 1 run, and 1 home run. She's now 2 home runs away from the from the Hofstra all-time record for home runs in her career, as the 1-1 pitch is fouled back. Ziemba crushed the ball yesterday, Brian, and that one was a bomb. And you see the power that she has. She's having a great year. She's now a 2-time first-team All-CAA player, and then made the second team this past season.
Yeah, the thing that she has done, she's improved a lot from last season towards this season, is that in last season she definitely had a very cold part of the strike zone, the low outside corner and also the high outside corner, and she's definitely taken advantage of that for her senior year, and she's able to hit those very far, which makes her a bigger threat. And
the 1-2 from Ford is a rise ball that just misses, so the count will level off at 2-2 now. The Hofstra team, as we mentioned, a very good hitting team. These are the top 2 hitting teams in the entire league. as the 2-2 from Ford is swung on and missed. So 1-2-3 go to Pride, and we're going to the bottom of the first inning scoreless.
And Galati, looking at her numbers for overall this season, a 1.40 ERA, going 36-10 so far this season, pretty much top 5 in the nation when it comes to how many games that she has won for the squad. She's pretty much the only person on the Hofstra Pride that has gotten the good amount of starts. And when you look at the last couple seasons, she's been the one that Bill Edwards has been relying on, because there hasn't been as much depth at the pitching position for Hofstra. But when you look at last year, you think the associate head coach Larissa Anderson has worked on a conditioning program with Olivia Galati in order for her to keep pitching, and whether it's lowering her pitch count or whether it's to comfort her arm with the amount of pitches that she uses. And it's definitely been shown, especially in her junior year when they made it to the Super Regionals, and she was able to just keep going. She pitched the whole CAA tournament, and she pitched almost the whole Super Regional as well.
Galati actually throws about 300 pitches a day. That's what they have her on a cycle. So
right.
She throws about 100 in a game. If that's nothing for her. She has no problem throwing now. We'll take a look at the defensive alignments right now for the Hofstra Pride. Galati in the circle, Erin Trippi behind the plate. She's a first-team All-CAA player for the first time in her career. Jess Hirschpool at third, Bigler at shortstop, Tori Rocha over at second base, Maggie Hawkins at first, Corinne Bailey in right, Tessa Ziemba in center, and DJ Slew out in left field.
Another thing to note, Olivia Galati has pitched 300 innings so far this season, and when you look at their strikeout numbers, she is 370 on the season right now, which is 8 strikeouts away from tying her record that she set last season, the single-season program record.
So Morgan Heath, the lefty, will step in right now. She went 0 for 2 yesterday against Galati, struck out twice. 2 of Galati's 10 strikeouts in her perfect game. Here comes the first pitch from her, and that one is popped up. Trippi underneath it, but that one will just go out of play into the stands.
We're already seeing the hustle come from this Hofstra defense, whether it's Erin Trippi or Jess Hirschpool was coming over to try to get that ball as well. It's going to be a game of hustle. It's also going to be a game of who has the best fielding, because there were a lot of errors in that first game yesterday between Hofstra and JMU, and that pretty much doomed JMU, and Hofstra was able to take advantage of it in their batting.
Heath, a .430 hitter in leadoff situations. She pops that one up in almost the same exact spot. A little bit further back now, so it's 0-2 quickly from Galati. But Heath, a .324 hitter right now, on-base percentage of a .378. Especially in that leadoff spot, the center fielder has been excellent all season long. She also has 23 stolen bases this entire season, a team that loves to run. Brian, as we mentioned so many times, that this JMU team loves to run. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and that one is flied out once again down the third base line. Will go out of play.
And as a team, they have 133 stolen bases on the season, and that leads the nation. But the thing is, a third of those come from the regular right fielder, Jasmine Butler. She will not be playing this game. She has a cast on her right arm. Looks like she had an injury to her hand, and she will not be active for this game.
Well, Butler played on Wednesday in the first game that they did play, and they defeated Delaware, but she did not play in any of the games yesterday. And the 0-2 from Galati is flied out into left field. Slew coming over, and Bigler tries to dive out and make that play. Good hustle there from Becca Bigler, but just unable to make the play.
Yeah, it looked like she was going over to the left field line, trying to make that over-the-shoulder catch, but just could not get to it. Tried to dive for it, but couldn't get any glove on it. As we look at the replay here, Slew slowly going over, but it looks like Bigler calls her off and just cannot get any glove on it. So it will stay 0-2 here.
A little bit out of the reach of Becca Bigler. You gotta be happy, of course, no collision over there in left field. Here comes the 0-2 from Galati, and that one is lined down to left field, and it's a base hit. He'll find the gap. Heath goes around first and heads into second, and she will be in there for a stand-up double, a leadoff double for the James Madison Dukes here in the bottom of the first inning.
This is exactly what the JMU needed. Morgan Heath, one of the best hitters on the team, the All-CAA second teamer for them. Just getting that one in the gap, sometimes it's all about location, and exactly was right there. And that was a fastball coming from Olivia Galati as we're going to be looking at the replay. She throws a fastball, and you know what they say. The faster you pitch it, the farther they go if you make contact, and that's exactly what happened. Ziemba happened to go right to the wall. But still good fielding, just keeping Heath at second base and going any farther, but she's still in scoring position.
And that's the first hit James Madison got against Galati in this entire CAA tournament. We mentioned the perfect game, of course, yesterday from her. She was unstoppable. The first base runner actually on base for the James Madison Dukes, a team that 315 on the season as a team. Their opponents bat only 196. So here's Caitlin Sandy, the righty shortstop. And the 0-1 pitch is fouled right back once again. So a lot of foul balls over here right now, Brian. They're starting to get the timing from Galati, and she's starting to read exactly, and they know the adjustments they had to make. And as Sarah Mooney said after the game yesterday, they know the adjustments they have to make when they're going to have to face Hofstra, but they, of course, had to go out there and defeat Towson to end up getting here and hopefully not getting eliminated. But now here they are. They have to win 2 games if they want to win a CAA title. If Hofstra wins today, they will be the CAA champions once again, as the 0-2 pitch is fouled off back into the screen.
And when we see JMU's lineup, they have a good combination of both power and speed. So when you see Morgan Heath, she's speedy on the base paths. Obviously, you lose Jasmine Butler, but you still have a lot of other speedy players. You have Cassidy Clayton and a club. Jalen Ford is also very speedy as well. And then you obviously see the power in the CAA Player of the Year, Sarah Mooney.
And here comes the 0-2 from Galati, and that one is popped out into left field. Salou underneath it, and she makes the catch. We'll see if she tags over to third. She just draws a throw. So 1 away here, and still a runner on second base, and Sarah Mooney will come to the plate, the CAA Player of the Year.
Very good hit ball there by Caitlin Sandy. That one actually looking like the wind, pushing that farther to the warning track in left field. As we look at the wind, it looks like it is actually blowing into left field, but Salou was able to get under it and was able to bring it in right away so Heath wouldn't be able to tag up.
Sarah Mooney, she won the Triple Crown this year for the CAA, 418 hitter on the season, 15 home runs and 64 RBI. She hit 2 bombs yesterday, one out into right center field and one out into left field. That was an absolute moonshot from Mooney out there. Went over the trees out in left field, an absolute bomb into the parking lot over there. We take a look there. Actually, that's yesterday, her first home run against Towson. And then here's the second one, an absolute bomb. You actually lose it over there because it gets a little dark and it goes well over the trees, and she crushed that one. Mooney 2 for 11 this season against Olivia Galati. That includes the 3-game sweep that Hofstra had against JMU, and the 0-1 pitch is lined down the third baseline. She has 1 RBI and 1 strikeout. That includes the strikeout yesterday when she went 0 for 2, as did everybody else on this JMU squad. As Galati threw a perfect game in 6 innings, Hofstra won it in 6 innings because of the 8-run rule.
In fact, actually making the top 10 plays on SportsCenter for tying the NCAA record for most perfect games in program history in NCAA history.
And here comes the 0-2 from Galati, and that one is swung on and fouled into the parking lot. So Galati's still getting those 0-2 counts, but the JMU Dukes are really fouling off a lot of pitches right now. Really, as we said before, still starting to read and knowing the adjustments they need to make. Now they just need to put the balls in play.
And you see Olivia Galati, she's got to be very careful with the types of pitches that she ends up throwing to Sarah Mooney, because if she throws that fastball where she can do it, she may be able to crank it.
And the 0-2 pitch, a rise ball, swung on and missed for a strikeout. Her first strikeout of the day, and Mooney goes down swinging.
Fantastic rise ball there coming from Olivia Galati, really fooling Sarah Mooney on that one. Pretty sure she was expecting a fastball, but swung high at the letters, and that, as we're going to look at the replay here, it's a very good rise ball, and Mooney chasing it.
So Jalen Ford, the pitcher, the freshman, will step in now. She was the CAA Rookie of the Year, easily could have been the CAA Pitcher of the Year. And the numbers that she had, she was obviously in consideration also for Player of the Year, but of course her teammate Mooney did that, and Olivia Galati, who's won it 4 years in a row now, is a dominant pitcher here in the CAA. But Jalen Ford, a lot of promise over there for the young freshman. Ford batting .222 in this tournament, 3 runs scored though, and 2 RBIs, including a home run yesterday against Towson. And the 1-1 pitch catches the outside corner. And Brian, we mentioned Olivia Galati and the stuff that she likes to throw. She loves that changeup, but she loves that rise ball as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely, as I was mentioning before, one of those things where you've already faced JMU already in this tournament, and they definitely have they've done their homework, and they'll have to see how they do against Galati.
And the 1-1 is swung back and goes right over the press box here. So the count go to 1-2 now. Galati with another 1-2 count and looking to get out of the jam with a runner in scoring position. Ford, a .379 hitter with runners in scoring position this season. Also .383 hitter when 2 outs.
When you see Jalen Ford and Sarah Mooney, both of them breaking the program record for home runs, beating Ashley Burnham's record in the single season.
And a 1-2 pitch, off-speed pitch, swung on and missed, but they're going to call a foul ball on that. Looks like she just got a piece of it. Take a look at Ford, actually swung her head right away. She knew she got a piece of that one. And home plate umpire, good call there from Don Brown. Don Brown, your home plate umpire, Chris Tacona, and Nelson Rosa over at third base. Tacona over at first base. Bill Edwards not happy about the call. He'll go out and have a conversation with Don Brown.
That off-speed pitch coming from Olivia Galati, usually your signature pitch when you see right when she strikes him out. We're going to take a look at the replay here to see if she actually did make contact.
It's hard to tell from that angle, but looks like it might have just gotten a little bit trippy. Was unable to catch that one cleanly. Erin Trippi, the first team All-CAA catcher, filling in for Courtney Cruz, who was a dominant catcher over here at Hofstra University, and now her first year starting as a sophomore. As that one is driven out to deep left field. It has enough, but it will go way foul. So she got the power around on that one, but just unable to keep it straight. The wind blowing a little bit, as you said, Brian, out into left field from right field to left field, but the wind didn't really have too much of a factor now when she was just way ahead on that off-speed pitch.
Yeah, just a little bit off speed. Not necessarily her actual changeup, but maybe just a little bit of movement on it, and definitely could not straighten it out to make it a home run, because that was pretty much crushed.
So we'll see what Galati ends up throwing on the 1-2 pitch. He's gone with a couple of changeups, and that was the off-speed pitch. Hirschbill underneath, and she'll make the final out of the inning. So no runs on one hit, no errors, a leadoff double, unable to bring the runner home, and we are scoreless through one inning of play. You are watching the CAA title game right here on CAA.TV. Welcome back to the CAA tournament, CAA title game right here on the campus of Hofstra University. We're scoreless through one inning of play between the Hofstra Pride and the James Madison Dukes. JMU, the home team in this game. Hofstra would end up being the home team in a possible Game 7 if JMU gets the victory. JMU needs the victory in order to keep themselves alive in this double elimination tournament.
We're looking at Jalen Ford right now, who's going to be in her second inning of work against the Hofstra Pride. She is definitely has a lot of stats that are very well known on the national stage. When you look at her ERA, coming into this week, she has a 1.65 ERA, and that was good enough for in top 40 in the nation. When you look at how many hits she allows per 7 innings, around only 4.3, and that's good enough for 13th in the nation. Also, a good amount of shutouts. She's got 8 shutouts, and that's in the top 25 as well. And the amount of strikeouts that she throws per game is also good enough for top 40 in the nation as well, and she has got 20 wins under her belt to go with that. So a very stellar freshman year, and definitely a lot of high hopes going forward with this JMU program under head coach Mickey Dean.
Mickey Dean, the first-year head coach here, as that one is driven down to left field. Does it have enough? It'll go over the head and off the wall. She'll run around first and head into second for a stand-up double for Erin Trippi, leading off the top of the second inning.
Looked like that ball had a little bit of movement, but either way, Erin Trippi just wanted to get the bats going for this Hofstra Pride team. She was able to crank that one into left center field right away and just hit the wall right behind Cassidy Clayton. She was able to field it and wasn't going to be able to get her at second base. As we look at the pitch, maybe a little bit of movement, just great contact there from Trippi, and Clayton could just not get to it.
Trippi missed that one by just a few feet from being a home run. As Hirschbill lines went over to third base, they got Trippi coming back, and they'll make the double play. Trippi just coming off the bag a little bit too early on that hard hit line drive from Jess Hirschbill. So 2 outs in the inning very quickly.
This is exactly what that's exactly what Mickey D wants if you're the JMU defense, basically, because they had some trouble with holding on to the ball last time. As we're going to take a look at the replay, Sarah Mooney actually having an error in the game against Towson, but on that point, even though she was a little bit shallow in the infield, was able to get a good glove on that, was able to make the catch.
So now here's Becca Bigler. She's struggled a little bit in this tournament thus far. However, she's struggled hitting. She has no hits in the tournament, but she still has a 500 on-base percentage, 3 walks and 2 runs scored in this tournament, though, thus far for the Hofstra Pride. Bigler has just been a fantastic player for this Hofstra Pride program. She's a second-team All-CAA player this year. 11 home runs on the season as the 2-0 pitch catches low for a strike. So Bigler, you know the power that she has. She missed home runs by just feet the other day in the first opening game, an absolute bomb.
In her sophomore year, actually had to sit out her sophomore year because of an illness, but then in her junior year, having a fantastic offensive effort, and also did very well in the defense as she improved over time. And then in her senior year here, just keeps bringing it. As long as she straightens out those hits, she's able to bring the power to this Hofstra Pride lineup.
Here comes a 3-1 from Ford, and that one just gets underneath it, popped up over to Sandy. She'll make the play for the final out of the top of the second inning. So no runs on one hit, and they left a runner stranded on second base on the double play ball. So right now you were still scoreless through 1.5 innings to play. CSNPhilly.com is also the simulcast also for this game. For all the latest and news and analysis on Philadelphia City 6, go to csnphilly.com, the online home for Comcast Sportsnet.
As you just took a look at the highlights for that half inning. You actually are just joining in with us. Aaron Trippy hitting the first pitch of the second inning from Jalen Ford out into left center field. Looked like there were going to be some high hopes as there was a runner in scoring position right away for this Hofstra team. But then very good play there by Sarah Mooney at third base when catching Jess Hirschbuel's line drive. And then throwing it over to second to catch Aaron Trippy, who was not expecting that and could not get to the bag. Looked like she slipped and fell trying to retreat and just could not get back there in time.
Well, Trippy out there still being able to get that leadoff double, as did, of course, that JMU did with Morgan Heath. Ended up leading off a double for the James Madison Dukes. But you see this JMU team, you see they did make the adjustments. You can already tell, pitching-wise, Jalen Ford has been spot on right now. Her stuff has been moving very well, really challenging her hitters. And Olivia Galati giving up a hit in the first at-bat, which is something that she has not done in about a day. She hasn't given up a hit since the Wednesday games, but regardless, still one hit for both teams. No runs on either side, and we're heading to the bottom of the second inning, and leading off for them will be Erica Field.
Taking a look a little bit at how Galati has done on the national stage, and she leads the nation in two categories. She has 20 shutouts on the year, and also, as I mentioned, 370 strikeouts. Both are good enough for leading the nation. And also, her average coming into the CAA tournament was .71 walks allowed per 7 innings, and that was good enough for second in the nation as well.
Well, Erica Field, she's catching today, and she's an all-rookie team player this season. A lot of promise, of course, for this JMU squad. A lot of freshmen on both of these teams that have contributed highly to each of their team's success.
And another thing to note about how I just mentioned the walks allowed per 7 inning stat, she actually hasn't given up a walk in the past 58 innings.
And here comes the 1-0 pitch to Field, and that one is swung on and driven down to right field. Rocha underneath it, and she'll make the out for the first out of the inning, the bottom of the second inning.
Tori Rocha, coming into last season, was going to be the second baseman for the Hofstra Pride, and that is exactly what she did. But she ended up struggling in the field at first. When you looked at her at practice, Bill Edwards, she would be probably the person that Bill Edwards was on the most, because he wanted to get the most out of her, the best out of her. And that's exactly what he has been getting ever since that one practice. And the postseason last year, she had done a very good job fielding and batting. And then as you see that, making the right decision, was able to call everyone else off. Looked like it could have maybe dropped in between the left fielder, right fielder, and Rocha. But she was able to get it.
So Megan Shinneberry comes in. She is the designated player in today's game, .237 hitter on the season. The righty is, and the first pitch from her is popped up. And that one will hit just the top of the press box right here and bounce back into the stands. So quickly it's 0-1. Shinneberry 375 in this tournament right now, 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. She, of course, went 0 for 2 as well as the rest of this JMU team did against Olivia Galati. It's always very interesting, Brian, to see what Galati ends up liking to throw. She has that mid-thigh change that she loves to throw, and it just drops on hitters. And you think you're going to be able to drive it. It always drops you into a little bit. She also has that knuckleball that not many people are able to develop, but she's really developed that knuckleball. And right now, in her senior year, it has been moving better than ever.
Well, every year she does happen to add a pitch to her list.
And here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that is popped up over to Bigler. She'll be underneath it to make the second out of the inning.
As we see Galati so far in this game, she's definitely gone with the pitches that involve a lot of movement and hasn't gotten with the fastball as much as people have expected. Also, the off-speed pitch as well, she hasn't seen as much. We're seeing a lot of sliders and curveballs coming from her. And also the rise ball, as she got ceremony with that one in the first inning. And the movement on that one made Shinneberry get under that one.
Well, here's Anna Clump. She'll be playing right field today. Only her 17th start in the season. And looks like she will actually be in because of the injury to Jasmine Butler. So she's somebody who has not really had that starting role that much, but a 192 hitter on the season in the 43 games she has played. Clump 375, though, in this tournament, 3 runs scored. She went 0 for 2 yesterday against Galati with 2 strikeouts.
When we look at how Jasmine Butler, how much she has been for impact for the team, it's been very crazy for them.
And that one is slapped over to shortstop, throws over to first in time, just in time for the final out of the bottom of the second inning. We are still scoreless here at Hofstra Softball Stadium. You are watching CAA Tournament Softball right here on CAA.tv.
At Hofstra University, discover what pride and purpose is all about.
Students who attend the presidential debate here at Hofstra.
Report the details.
What do you think my code would look like?
Find out what's waiting for you by visiting hofstra.edu/bemore.
Stadium, the home right now to the CAA tournament in 2013. Hofstra has hosted almost every year. The last time they did not host back in 2006, Georgia State ended up getting to host. Dan Savarino, Brian McDonald here. Thanks so much for joining us on this beautiful Friday afternoon from Long Island, Hempstead, New York, as the James Madison Dukes take on the Hofstra Pride. And Brian, I'm going to pass it over to you. You're going to take play-by-play for those middle innings.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. As we see Jalen Ford, she's going to be in her third inning of work in the pitcher circle. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Hofstra Pride coming up. Maggie Hawkins, the righty, Corinne Bailey, the lefty, and the pitcher rounding that out, Olivia Galati, the righty for that. So right now it'll be Maggie Hawkins up to bat. She's batting .340 on the year. She's got 15 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 homers on the season. So she definitely has a combination of speed and power, the freshman.
And you talk to Larissa Anderson, the associate head coach for the Hofstra Pride, and she says Maggie Hawkins, as a freshman, just has that ability to go with a pitch. She doesn't have to always pull everything. Young hitters love to try and pull things, but she can just go with any pitch, even when it's on the outside corner, and just a remarkable talent for a young pitcher.
Next pitch to Hawkins gets the low outside corner for strike 2.
Brian Smith's a young pitcher also. She has pitched a few games this season. She has that potential to end up throwing, but she is usually their starting first baseman.
Ford winds and deals high and outside. Hawkins actually being the teammate of Chloe Fitzgerald on their club team back when they were in high school. As Ford winds and deals, swung on and hit out of play behind the stands down the first base line. So the count stays at 1-2, still scoreless here in the top of the third. The JMU fielders playing at their regular positions, no one too shallow, no one too deep. Ford winds and deals. Rise ball a little bit high, 2-2. As Hawkins steps in again. Wind is not a factor at the moment. There's a good crowd here at Hofstra Softball Stadium. She winds and deals. Goes down the right field line, but foul. Count stays at 2-2.
That just shows you right again, Brian, how Maggie Hawkins can really go with a pitch no matter what. She doesn't try to pull things a little bit too much. So much potential over there for the first baseman.
Jalen Ford winds and fires. Low and outside to call the ball, so the count goes to full. After Ford started at 0-2, a lot of good patience and protecting the plate by Maggie Hawkins in this at-bat. They're both ready. Payoff pitch. Swung on and hit deep into center field, but under it is Morgan Heath. And she catches it for the first out of the top of the third inning.
And that looked like an off-speed pitch there that just was a little bit low and golfed up there by Maggie Hawkins and just dropped the hand just a little bit too much because nothing you can really do on that low pitch. Just trying to put it out there in the 3-2, a little bit too close to take. So just dropped the hands a little bit too much, and now there's one away.
So another freshman, an All-CAA first-teamer as well, Corinne Bailey, up to the plate for the Hofstra Pride. Ford winds and fires. High and outside for a ball. The catcher, Erica Field, cannot handle it.
And what's amazing about Corinne Bailey, a .380 hitter on the season, and she doesn't even win the batting title. Ceremony ends up winning that, hitting well over .400 on the year.
Yes, the CAA definitely becoming stronger in the offensive categories. Definitely showing the rest of the world that. So Ford winds and deals high and inside for a ball 2. Corinne Bailey actually playing club ball here on Long Island, even though she is from Pennsylvania. She's played on the same team as Erin Trippi as well.
Team Long Island, one of the most dominant teams over here on Long Island for club baseball. Excuse me, club softball, rather that.
Swung on by Bailey, high in foul territory. Sarah Mooney comes under to get it and makes the catch. So out number 2 here in the top of the third, and now coming up the bat will be Hofstra's pitcher, Olivia Galati. So pitcher on pitcher here.
Well, we'll see what Galati could do. She's only batting .277 on the year right now. A lot of that had to do with her struggles because she did deal with a foot injury earlier in the season. Her ankle was not the healthiest, so they wanted to just pitch her instead of having her throw out there and try and get some hits. She only is actually hit in 38 games this season. But Galati 400 hitting right now in the 2 games, 3 runs and 1 RBI. She had an RBI in yesterday's game against JMU.
First pitch to Galati is down and to the right for ball 1. 2 outs here in the top of the third, still scoreless. Wind's starting to pick up again. Ford winds and fires. Takes that one, looks like it's just going to miss the strike zone for ball 2.
Right now in the lineup, Galati actually the only player in the batting lineup that is an under 3 hitter, a sub 300 hitter on the season, and still somebody with so much power out there.
Galati lets that one go as well, so now the count goes to 3-0, a little bit high, missing the strike zone. But one thing that we do know about Jalen Ford, who's in the pitcher's circle right now, is that her biggest strength is composure, as said by her previous coaches. She winds and deals that one, and that one is in there for strike 1. So it goes to a hitter's count here to Olivia Galati, the right-handed batter. The JMU field is playing at their regular positions, no one too shallow, no one too deep. She winds and deals. That one little high and outside, so ball 4, and Galati will trot down to first base.
Good eye there from Olivia Galati, being able to get a runner now on first base, only the second base runner in this game so far that Jalen Ford has given up here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Now we're back at the top of the order here in the top of the 3rd. Chloe Fitzgerald will be in the batter's box for the Pride. Very speedy freshman.
And Chloe Fitzgerald was not expected to be that leadoff hitter this year. Rachel Senator, that was her job. She ends up dealing with a bad leg injury, ends up missing she has missed every game this season, and she really took Chloe Fitzgerald under her wing.
As the first pitch is down the middle for strike 1. Another thing that shines about Chloe Fitzgerald is that she definitely has that speed, and as you can see, Sarah Mooney playing pretty shallow in the infield. As the next pitch actually goes over Mooney's head and into the outfield, so Galati will advance to second, and that'll be a base hit for Chloe Fitzgerald, and there's a runner in scoring position for the Pride.
Well, Chloe Fitzgerald is going to develop into one talented player out there, especially a very good slap hitter that she is. And you take a look at that pitch, the all-team, the second CAA player this year as a freshman, just being able to slap one right out into third base, knowing where they are and knowing how much you have to really put on. We'll take a look at the replay right now. And Ford delivers that pitch, the lefty does. And she just jams her inside, but just knows how to take it, drive it out there, slap it out there where they are, and so now you have runners on first and second.
First pitch to Tori Rocha is in there for strike 1. Off-speed pitch there.
Rocha, a 300 hitter with runners in scoring position this season. Batting 300 even right now on the year.
Galati on second, Fitzgerald on first. Jalen Ford gets the sign. She's ready to pitch. She winds and deals. A little high for a ball 1, so the count goes even at 1-1.
Tori Rocha, second team All-CAA player, as we mentioned before. She's had a very good year this year. The 302 hitter coming into this game, as well as 14 RBIs in the year.
Next pitch from Ford. A little bit of change up there. High and outside for ball 2. Just missing the strike zone once again there, Dan.
Just missing again, and Ford still has some good stuff right now, but Hofstra's really challenging her, and they're not being too aggressive in the pitches. They're knowing when to take good pitches and when to drive the good ones, and that's been the difference so far.
Next pitch to Rocha is swung on and hit to the backstop for a foul ball. So the count stays at, it'll be 2-2.
So look to see what Jalen Ford ends up trying to go with. 193 strikeouts coming into this game right now. Led for the single season record in JMU history, actually. I think you mentioned that before, Brian.
Tori Rocha with 14 RBIs on the season. The next one is swung on and hit down the right field line and past the first baseman, Caitlin Barber. Rounding third and headed for home is Olivia Galati, and so is Fitzgerald, and she gets home as well. So an two-run double there for Tori Rocha puts the Pride up first over the JMU Dukes here in the top of the third. It's 2-0.
Tori Rocha just taking that pitch and driving it. Took the inside pitch and turned on it down the line. Just stayed fair by about a couple of inches down there, down the first base line. And then good hustle play there by Chloe Fitzgerald, being able to come all the way around from first and come home to score. We'll take a look at the replay right now. She said off-speed pitch, just drove one on the inside corner and drove it down the line. Gets stuck out in the corner over there. And the speed of Fitzgerald being able to come all the way from first and score on that play. Now you Hofstra Pride have a 2-0 lead here.
Tori Rocha coming in the clutch once again for the Pride here in the postseason. She bats actually a little over 300 now with runners in scoring position. It definitely shows why she definitely does well at that. So now coming up to bat will be the power hitter for the Pride, Tessa Ziemba, in the 3 spot. As we have a mound visit here with Jalen Ford, and it looks like the infield and the catcher are set to go with her in the pitcher circle. So the lefty Ziemba stands in the box. Tori Rocha on second after a 2-run double. That brings in Olivia Galati and Chloe Fitzgerald.
I mentioned before, Hofstra just knowing the pitches when to take. They've been very good at that all season long, is knowing how to develop, not being too aggressive and knowing the pitches to take. They all have good vision. That's something that the coaching staff really wants to work on them more and more, is being able to take those bad pitches, take those borderline pitches, know your eye, and then be able to drive the pitches that they miss and get yourself into good counts.
Next pitch from Ford is swung on and hit into left center field very high. In left field is Cassidy Clayton to make the catch, which will be out number 3. But the damage is done. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. And after 2.5, it's 2-0 Hofstra as we look at how the damage was done. Tori Rocha with that hit down the right field line past Caitlin Barber. Galati and Fitzgerald go home. Fitzgerald's going to have to, but there's not even a throw at the plate. Definitely running away with it, the 1 and 2 seeds. Hofstra and James Madison, the only threat that could possibly have had it beforehand were the Georgia State Panthers, but they are ineligible for the CAA tournament, for they will be leaving for the Sun Belt Conference next year. As you see right there, the head coach, first-year head coach for the James Madison Dukes, Mickey Dean, who comes from Radford University, who led Radford to the Big South title 4 times. So he definitely has a lot on his resume.
It was a very interesting move there because Coach Katie Flynn, her contract was not renewed. She's now coaching over at Brown University softball. So you get a new coach coming in here, but you still had a lot of young, good recruits coming in, and already a team that had somewhat of a foundation. Heather Kiefer, of course, last year she was the CAA Rookie of the Year. This year she's been their 1, sometimes 2 pitcher because Jalen Ford's come in and been that dominant freshman.
The former head coach of the James Madison Dukes, Katie Flynn, coaching and actually hired by the former Hofstra athletic director, Jack Hayes. That's the first pitch from Galati to Clayton.
Cassidy Clayton
is there 0-1.
Cassidy Clayton this season, 667 leadoff, but she has not had that many at-bats, so those numbers are a little bit skewed. 22 at-bats this season.
Next pitch from Galati is swung on and missed. A fastball for strike 2.
Clayton's only started in 22 games this season, 35 appearances, mostly playing in the outfield. She's a left fielder.
Clayton, the junior from Acton, Massachusetts. She winds and deals. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. K number 2 on the day for Olivia Galati. And that'll be the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Coming up now is Hannah Hayes, who actually had a scary moment in the game yesterday against Towson, actually making contact with Bina Abbott at first base as she was running through and actually hitting her left elbow, the head hitting her left elbow, and she goes down very hard. But she's back in the lineup for today's game. In fact, they went back into the game last night as well. First pitch from Galati to Hayes is swung on and tipped to the backstop for a foul ball.
Hayes, the second baseman in today's game, hitting .267 on the season. On-base percentage of just above 300, 306 entering today's game.
Galati gets the sign from Trippy. She winds and fires. Shows bunt, but a foul ball that goes into the stands. As one fan in the crowd just can't get a hand on it. Very good crowd here at Hofstra Softball Stadium for the 2013 CAA Championship. Definitely a beautiful day as opposed to the past couple days here at the CAA tournament where there had been several delays, but no delay for this one. Galati winds and deals to Hayes. Swung on and another foul ball hit behind the press box. Count stays at 0-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Galati's been challenging hitters so far on these 0-2 counts, only giving up 1 hit thus far, only 1 base runner thus far. So she's really been challenging him on these 0-2 pitches, and it's always interesting to see what she likes to go with. She either goes with that rise or that changeup.
Galati winds and deals once again. Off-speed pitch goes right down to the Hofstra dugout for a foul ball. Count stays at 0-2. Here to Hannah Hayes. Got 10 RBIs on the season. Has struck out 33 times. And that's 3 doubles and 2 home runs on the year. So an 0-2 pitch, 1 out. Galati winds and deals, swung on and hit out of play behind the stands down the third base line. And the count stays at 0-2. Good protecting the plate there by Hannah Hayes right now. Seems like she's swinging on anything that even gets close.
And Brian, how many foul balls have we seen in this game thus far through only 2 and a third inning of play? JMU really adjusting.
Galati wins and deals again. Swung on and hit in play to Bigler. She's going to throw it over to Hawkins for the second out of the inning. So a ground out by Hannah Hayes will bring back up the top of the order as Morgan Heath will be up to bat, who had the only hit so far in this game against Pride.
Morgan Heath earlier on, a double that went all the way out into left center field, drove that one out there for the leadoff double, and since then the Dukes have not been able to get anything on the board, anything in the second inning, and so far 2/3 through the third inning of play.
So Heath doubled to center field in her first at bat to get JMU's bats going. So the first pitch to Morgan Heath is off speed, just barely misses the strike zone.
And take a look at that replay from earlier. That one rolled all the way out to the wall at the end. It came in, but she was in there for a stand-up double. A good piece of hitting of just going with a pitch on the outside corner.
Next pitch from Galati. Swung on and hit in play. Fly ball goes right in front of Jess Hirschbuhl. She's able to make the catch, and that will be out number 3. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. We're going to the 4th inning with Hofstra up 2-0 over the James Madison Dukes. You are watching the 2013 CAA Softball Championship right here on CAA.TV. As you're looking at the crowd, the first picture that you saw of the crowd was actually Hofstra Athletic Director Jeff Hathaway. As you can see, everyone in the crowd. As we get back to the game here, the catcher, Erin Trippy, steps into the batter's box. Jalen Ford, her pitch count is up to 43 pitches. Next pitch, first pitch to Erin Trippy is check swing but foul.
And Trippy's first at bat was a leadoff double in the second inning. She drove one out into the left field, but ended up being a Jess Hirschbuhl line drive over to third base, and Mooney threw back to second to tag up Trippy, who was just a little bit off the base, and it was a hard hit ball.
Very well hit ball into left center field. First pitch from Ford is grounded to the second baseman. Hannah Hayes throws it over to Barber for the first out of the top of the 4th. Now coming up to bat will be the third baseman, Jess Hirschbuhl. In her last at-bat, lined out to Sarah Mooney. And they were able to double up her and Erin Trippy. Definitely good reaction time there, as actually Mooney was playing pretty deep into the infield. First pitch from Ford to Hirschbuhl is called a ball, just missing the strike zone, low and outside.
Hirschbuhl hitting 200 right now in the 2 games in the CAA tournament, as well as a .429 on-base percentage. She scored a run and hit a RBI. Ended up being a double, as that one is flied out over to the first base side for the second out of the inning.
Hirschbuhl not being able to straighten that one out, as it seemed like Caitlin Barber was able to get there right on time for the second out. Becca Bigler now in to the batter's box. She popped out to the shortstop, just got under it a little bit. So first hit to Jalen Ford, and just barely gets Becca Bigler at first base as it went right off of Ford's glove. And so 3 up and 3 down go the Hofstra Pride in the top of the 4th. And it still stays 2-0 in favor of Hofstra going into the bottom of the 4th. But we're now here in the bottom of the 4th. Brian McDonald here alongside my color in Dan Savarino. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday afternoon here at Hofstra Softball Stadium for the 2013 CAA Softball Championship. Olivia Galati in her 4th inning of work. She winds and deals to Caitlin Sandy. The first pitch is low and outside, called a ball.
Caitlin Sandy before flied out to left field on an 0-2 pitch. She's in 342 this year.
Next pitch to Sandy, a swung on and hit into center field. Zim has to go back a little bit, but makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
So with one out here, comes to play is Sarah Mooney, and we mentioned before Mooney having some struggles with Olivia Galati this season, as almost everybody on this James Madison Dukes team has had. 2 for 11, including the CAA tournament. She went 0 for 2 yesterday and struck out once. You know the power she has. You saw it in the Towson game yesterday if you were watching. The 2 home runs, just a remarkable player and remarkable talent that's going to be dominating this conference for the next 2 years.
Gala's first pitch, Mooney is swung on and she gets under it. It's a pop-up in the infield. Getting it is Hirschfield, and she makes the play for the second out. So Sarah Mooney decides to swing on the first pitch. Looked like a good pitch, maybe a fastball, but gets under it.
Might have been a rise ball there,
Yeah,
Brian.
it may have been a little bit high.
Look at a rise ball there that he knew how to just challenge her, because it was a pitch that she wanted to drive and really take something out there to possibly right field and just go with it because of the power that she does have out there. We'll take a look at the replay right now, and that was just driven out to right field. Well, was trying to drive it out in right field, and just got underneath it a little bit too much, and there you go. It's another out for Sarah Mooney, and now she is 0 for 2 once again today, only 2 hits in 13 attempts against Olivia Galati.
0-1 count now here to Jalen Ford, the cleanup hitter, and also the pitcher for the JMU Dukes. Second on the team in home runs. Next pitch to Jalen Ford is another pop-up in the infield. Hirschfield's going to get it once again, and she makes a play for out number 3. So the 4th inning comes to a close, 3 up, 3 down once again. So a very quick 4th inning here at Hofstra Softball Stadium. The Pride are up 2-0 over the James Madison Dukes, and you are watching the 2013 CAA Softball Championship right here on CAA.TV.
At Hofstra University, discover what pride and purpose is all about.
Students who attend the presidential debate here at Hofstra.
report the details. What do you think my code would look like?
Find out what's waiting for you by visiting hofstra.edu/bemore.
Welcome back to Hofstra Softball Stadium, where the Pride are up 2-0 over the James Madison Dukes. Brian McDonald here alongside Dan Savarino. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday afternoon. And it's a perfect time to tell you that to log on to CAAsports.com and CAA.TV following today's championship final for post-game reactions, stats, recaps, and highlights from all 3 days of the CAA Softball Championships.
And what a 3 days it has been. Very up and down, of course. It's been so sunny and beautiful out here the last couple of weeks here in Hempstead, and then all of a sudden the rain starts coming Wednesday, pushing back the start times between the 2 games on Wednesday, and then of course the same thing happens on Thursday. Start time for their game yesterday was originally set for 12 o'clock. Got pushed back over close to about 3 o'clock. Around 5 after 3 was actually the official start time, pushing everything back. Today's start time got pushed back because of all the other things, but
Right.
Still a beautiful day today. 80 degrees, a packed house here at Hofstra Softball Stadium.
So Maggie Hawkins in the batter's box. She flied out to the Morgan Heath the first at bat. So the first pitch to her is swung on and hit into foul territory, but the catcher, Erica Field, cannot get to it. She tries to make the sliding catch, but cannot. So 0-1 count.
Hawkins flied out to center field on a 3-2 pitch before.
As we mentioned before, Jalen Ford has a lot of variety in her pitches. She's got 5 to choose from. We'll see what she uses against Hawkins right here as she winds and deals. Swung on and hit into foul territory. Once again, Sarah Mooney is able to get under it for the first out of the inning.
And once again, they're trying to eliminate that power from that Maggie Hawkins does have to drive things. They've been going at those low pitches. They got her out before on that low pitch where she was able to just drop her hands a little bit too much and unable to really drive something out to center field, instead popping it out to center field. But the same thing happened right there, just a low pitch, and she was just unable to drive it and just had to drop her hands and just try to put a ball in play.
Corinne Bailey swings to the first pitch. It's a high fly ball into right field. Going back is the right fielder, Anna Clump, and she makes the catch on the warning track. So 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. A very good catch there made by Anna Clump. So it looked like that one was gone. It was a very high fly ball, but it stays in the park.
That one looked gone right off the bat. Corinne Bailey shows you the power that she has driving things out there. We'll take a look at this replay right there. She got well around on that one. Just maybe dropped the hands a little bit too much and just unable to drive it out a little bit too far. Right at the warning track right there. And right underneath it for the second out of the inning. A loud second out of the inning.
First pitch to Olivia Galati is swung on and missed for strike 1.
Galati last time had 2 outs, and she was able to work a walk, which ended up leading to the run scored in the third.
Next pitch to Galati. It's in the dirt, low and outside, ball 1. So the count goes even at 1-1.
Galati has a great eye at the plate. She got a great eye, of course. When she knows how to throw it, she likes to work the outsides inside, but she knows exactly what to do with the plate. Very good vision and a very good vision hitter.
Next pitch, Galati is swung on and hit into foul territory. The right fielder, Anna Clump, trying to get to it, but cannot, as she actually slides right into the fence, but cannot get it. So 1-2 count here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Pride still up 2-0. Wind is no longer a factor, or at least at the moment. So no high fly balls pushing any balls out of the park or pushing them back in. The next pitch is swung on and hit in play. The second baseman, Hannah Hayes, gets under it, and she makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. So 3 up, 3 down, as there was actually a scare there for the JMU Dukes as Corinne Bailey hit a high fly ball to get the second, but it's caught by Anna Clump. As we look at it again, just a very good hit there by Corinne Bailey, but Clump was able to get to it. And that would be the 2nd out of the inning, but either way, it's 3 up, 3 down. We'd like to thank those of you tuning on the various ComcastSportsNet.com websites simulcasting today's CAA.TV coverage. The CAA is a proud television and digital partner of both Comcast Sportsnet and ComcastSportsNet.com. So bottom of the 5th here. Pride up 2-0 over JMU here at Hofstra Softball Stadium. Brian McDonald alongside Dan Savarino here in the press box at Hofstra Softball Stadium, as Olivia Galati will be in the pitcher circle once again. Only 1 hit so far for JMU in the first inning by Morgan Heath, a stand-up double that, with a very good hit that went to the wall in left center field, but could not get anything since then. It is actually the only run on base that JMU has had
in the last 2 days right now, and that's in 10 innings of play thus far. And we're down to the bottom of the 5th inning with JMU coming to bat. They just been only get 1 runner on base in the last 10 innings against Olivia Galati. And the Pride right now, they know how to get it done. When they are able to score that first run, they're 39-1 on the season. So for them, they just want to get that first run, and they feel confident enough to always have Olivia Galati right behind them, and being able to go out there even when she's not having her best day. You have to always be able to trust everyone else. If you look at the pitching stats, of course, between the 2 teams, and we look at the comparison, pitching wise for Hofstra, 169 in the season, but Galati ended up having 46 of those starts, where on the other JMU side, they had 191 ERA, but they had a couple of different pitchers that they like to throw in there. Kiefer, of course, Jalen Ford today are 2 dominant pitchers, but they also have some pitchers who can come out of the pen and really get things done. So just shows you the big difference that it's really just 1 pitcher for Hofstra, where no matter what, even if Ford ends up struggling over there for the Dukes, they can still have that option of going with somebody else.
As you just looked at the order for the JMU batters, Erica Field, Megan Shinneberry, and Anna Clump will be the first three going for the JMU Dukes. Erica Field's sister, Alicia Field, actually walked on and played 3rd base for the Virginia Tech Hokies and played softball for them from 2008 to 2011. So definitely runs in the family for the Fields.
Softball runs in the family. Olivia Galati's dad actually is one of the coaches for Team Long Island right here on the island.
First pitch from Galati, a swung on a hit into center field. Slew goes back and makes the catch as she runs to try to get that one and makes it for the 1st out of the bottom of the 5th. So already 1 down here.
And except for that Heath double in the bottom of the 1st inning, that was definitely the best hit ball that we've seen in this game against Olivia Galati. DJ Slew playing out there in left field in that flex position, just being able to range a little bit to her left and being able to make that catch.
Actually making the All-CAA first team her sophomore year, and the junior year didn't play as much, but her senior year finally playing left field once again for the Hofstra Pride. So she's had an interesting road here.
She scored one of those big runs at the NCAA Super Regionals.
Right. 1-0 count here to Megan Shinneberry. First pitcher is swung on, hit deep in the left field, going back as Slew again, and she makes the running catch again. So 2 great catches there by DJ Slew, getting her work done in the field, and there are 2 outs already in the 5th inning.
Now, just as I said, another good hit ball. That one, you can definitely tell Olivia Galati smiling, knowing that she's very lucky that she has her senior out there, somebody who she came in with, DJ Slew, with the range over there, going to her left and being able to make the backhanded catch. going right into the wall over there. So a nice play there from DJ Slew, even when Galati let one hang just a little bit too much there.
So Anna Clump, the right fielder, left-handed batter, is in. She check swings at the first pitch, but either way, it's going to be a strike. So 0-1 count early here to Clump.
But you can definitely tell the way the JMU Dukes have adjusted from yesterday to today. Even though they only have one hit in this game, they've still been able to put things good on, put good balls on there.
Next pitch is check swing, and Becca Bigler cannot handle it, and that will probably be an E6 charge to the shortstop.
So we'll charge that one as the scorekeeper, Brian Bull, will score that one E6 on Becca Bigler. So now a runner will be on first base here with 2 outs. And Mickey Dean's going to be making, looks like he's going to be making a pinch hitting situation here, and we'll see who he ends up bringing out. He's talking to home plate umpire Don Brown.
Let's try to get you the number right away. As you're looking at the replay right now and see what happens, she just cannot get, she gets a glove on it, but just cannot handle it. You can see in her facial expression, very upset at herself for that. As we look at the pinch hitter right now, it will be Kat Clavin. She actually pinched hit in the game against Towson last night as well. So far in the season, batting around .204, 4 runs scored, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs.
Clavin, the junior, last year had 9 starts behind the dish. She's also a catcher on this team.
So Anna Clump on first, the second runner on base of the day for JMU. First pitch is swung on and hit down the left field line, foul. So 0-1 count here to Clavin. Here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Hofstra 2, JMU nothing at the 2013 CAA Softball Championship.
And 2 RBI hit by Tori Rocha back in the 3rd inning.
Next pitch from Galati is off speed. Another ball hit into down the left field line, foul in front of the JMU dugout. Count goes 0-2.
I mentioned, of course, 2 out situations. That's what it's Winford Hofstra Pride is the 2 out, 2 RBI single down the first base line ended up giving them the lead. And right now you have a runner on base with 0-2 count still, but you have 2 outs right here. You got to be able to still hit in 2 out situations. Or Clavin is .353 hitter in that situation.
Clump on first. Galati gets a sign. She winds and fires. Swung on and another foul ball hit behind our heads at the press box. Count stays at 0-2. Coming into the inning, Olivia Galati's pitch count was 47 pitches. Has a 1.38 ERA at this point. Clavin, .353 batting average when there are 2 outs, but 160 batting average when there are runners on base. Winds and deals low and outside for a ball as Trippy throws over to Maggie Hawkins to try to get the runner out at first, but cannot get her out. Count goes to 1-2. Anna Clump brings a lot of speed to the JMU squad. As we mentioned already, they lead the nation in stolen bases as a team. Next pitch to Clavin is down there as looks like Clump is going down to second base. And looks like there may have been a clothesline type of play there by Anna Clump as she was trying to slide into second base. But Becca Bigler is down. And she is hurt.
You got to watch out right here. It looks like it might have been sticking with the shoulder. Bigler trying to come over and make that play, and she just got in the way on the slide by Clump. Nothing Clump could do. She was just going straight towards there. We'll take a look at the replay right here on the stolen base.
Looks like it's going to go over, and she actually mishandles the ball, but then, yeah, the shoulder, the right arm of Anna Clump seems to hit Becca Bigler, and she goes down hard.
And the throw by Trippy there, not the strongest throw over there, so it took her a little bit off the bag, and that was a situation where she was just trying to hold it underneath so she wouldn't get the runner, of course, to go to third and try and put a tag on her. And as that one bounced up on her, she just misplayed it just a little bit, and that's where the collision ended up happening. We'll take a look at it one more time. And look, like just got her right shoulder. We'll see how she's doing it down. She's talking to Coach Edwards and the trainer out there. So we'll see if she can end up continuing out there
looked like Clump may have also maybe hit her neck on that at the motion as well coming from Anna Clump. It's definitely possible, but Becca Bigler still getting checked here by the trainers and also head coach Bill Edwards.
Well, if Bigler can't stay in this game, you take a look at what it'll end up doing to them. Not only do you lose your starting shortstop who has started in all 53 games this season for you, but still you lose that power bat that Becca Bigler brings, even though she has not had a hit in this tournament in the 2 games and now into the 3rd game thus far. She still is somebody that you have to worry about because she brings that power bat in the middle of the lineup, right, protecting Jess Hirschfield, giving her some chances to look at. So it's going to be an interesting situation if she's not able to stay in the game. We'll see who Hofstra would end up going with over there to replace her at short.
Becca Bigler, the 5'7" senior from Bainbridge, Pennsylvania. As we mentioned earlier, played the majority of her freshman year, but had to sit out her sophomore year with an illness. As it looks like she is actually going to stay in the game.
So she'll stay in there, but a sign of respect there from GMU clapping their hands as well. Anna Clump out there at second base clapping her hand. I know she definitely did not want to hurt Becca Bigler in any way possible. There was no intention on that, just nothing she could do to try and avoid Bigler, who was coming over. Just one of those regular softball plays that you end up seeing when a throw sometimes a little bit off.
So Kat Clavin is still in the batter's box for JMU. It's a 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Hofstra up 2-0 over JMU. Galati waiting for the sign from her catcher, Erin Trippi. And Clump is on second. She winds and deals. Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 3 of the day for Olivia Galati. And it'll be no runs on no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. And it's still Pride over the Dukes, 2-0. You are watching the 2013 CAA Softball Championship right here on CAA.TV. And we're back here at Hofstra Softball Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. As you're looking on the screen right now, you're looking at a shot of the Nassau Coliseum, the home of the New York Islanders, who are very deep in playoff action right now against the Pittsburgh Penguins, as they will be playing their Game 6 tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right there at the Nassau Coliseum, right down the road from here, down the road on Hempstead Turnpike. But before we start the 6th inning here, the Pride up 2-0 over James Madison, I will be passing the play-by-play duties back over to my broadcast partner, Dan Savarino. Dan, take it away.
Well, thanks, Brian. Well, 2-0 to score still here in the top of the 6th inning now. Hofstra wanted to put some more runs on the board. 2-0 lead is something that they can still work with Olivia Galati in the circle for them, but still they want to be able to continue this, and they'll start it off with Chloe Fitzgerald, who's their leadoff hitter. So far today, she is 1 for 2 on the day with a run scored. She grounded out to first base in the 1st inning and then singled a little slap hit as she tries to slap it right there down the line and fouls it off.
Now, when she was recruited by head coach Bill Edwards, he had a lot of nice words to say about her. The potential to be a good leadoff hitter, which she has ended up being.
Absolutely.
She has great speed and ends up getting the majority of her hits by being infield singles, can get on base right away, and she has the traits that fit this program: very hard work and team oriented.
And when you get words like that from a legendary coach in this business, a Hall of Fame coach like Bill Edwards, it absolutely is an honor to be able to say that. And if you're highly touted by him, of course, a lot of respect over there for all of his players. As here comes the 1-1 pitch from Ford. And now when it's slapped over to first base, throws over to first base once again. Barber over to Hayes for the 3-4 out for the first out of the top of the 6th inning.
Now, the majority of times that when Fitzgerald gets her infield singles, they usually go the opposite field. They probably go the third baseman or shortstop. And it seems like the past couple times that she's pretty much been hitting it towards the second baseman and first baseman, isn't able to get over there in time. But still did have a very good hit earlier in the game when she hit that blooper over Sarah Mooney's head in left field. But still a very good job by Fitzgerald in this game.
Tori Rocha 1 for 2 today. She hit a double down the right field line for the 2 RBIs, which ended up giving the Pride the 2-0 lead back in the 3rd inning. That all started with an Olivia Galati walk with 2 outs. Rocha steps in right now with 305 hitter, 395 on-base percentage. Are her updated stats as that pitch is for a called strike. It's 1-1.
Looked like Sarah Mooney at third base was coming in a little bit, maybe expecting a bunt from Tori Rocha, but considering you see Rocha, she's more of a combo hitter. She can hit for power and also for speed as well if she can just lay down a bunt.
Here comes the 1-1 delivery, and that off-speed pitch just misses high. So now it is 2-1, and a good chance for Tori Rocha to see something that she would like to hit.
Looking at Jalen Ford's stats so far in this game, giving up 3 hits, the 2 earned runs, 1 walk and 1 strikeout, and coming into this inning she had 59 pitches.
And that one is fouled right back, so now the count levels off at 2-2.
So both pitchers having relatively low pitch counts, both getting the work done as quick as possible. And you see JMU only having 1 hit. And then you see Hofstra, they got 3 hits, but they were able to capitalize on it. They've only left 1 on base as opposed to James Madison's 2.
Here comes a 2-2 delivery, and that one is swung on and driven down to left field. That will go down the line, foul, so the count will stay at 2-2. Jalen Ford only 1 strikeout in this game so far. These Hofstra hitters really making contact and trying to put balls in play as they usually do. Not a team that strikes out very often.
Their last non-Hofstra loss came exactly 1 month ago, April 10th versus Virginia Tech.
So 2-2 count. Ford will look in and get her signs from her catcher field, and here comes the delivery. And she swung on and missed for the second strikeout of the game, second out of the inning. Tori Rocha goes down swinging.
Look at that, may have been a curveball coming there from Jalen Ford. She tends to actually have a pretty fast curveball compared to other pitchers, and definitely had a lot of movement on that one. Maybe it could have also been a right spot as well. As we look at the replay with the last at bat from Tori Rocha, that one just maybe having a little bit of movement on it. But either way, it's a swing and a miss by Tori Rocha. Couldn't get any contact on that one.
And the first pitch to Tessa Ziemba. She's 0 for 2 today. It's a foul ball right into the dirt, so it's 0-1 quickly. Ziemba, on the power hitters on this team, you start off with 3 lefty hitters from this top of your order, and that usually has an advantage for them as she fouls that one back. Usually an advantage for them, but against a pitcher like Jalen Ford, one of the only dominant lefty pitchers in this entire conference. So you look at that situation right there, and obviously in the favor of Jalen Ford, despite how good these top 3 hitters have been for the Pride all season long in Fitzgerald, Rocha, and Ziemba. Now here comes the 0-2 pitch to her, and she pops one off the hands. Coming in is Hayes, and she'll make the out for the final out of the top of the 6th inning. So 1-2-3 go to Pride. We're going to the bottom of the 6th inning, and you're still 2-0 the score between the Hofstra Pride and the James Madison Dukes. Fans, the CAA wants to interact with you on social media, like the Colonial Athletic Association on Facebook. Follow CAA Sports on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to tag your tweets and pics with the official CAA Championship hashtag CAA Champs. So, Brian, there will be a CAA champion if Hofstra ends up winning this game. If not, they end up falling in this game, and JMU ends up coming back and taking this victory. They would end up going to another game, a Game 7, if you want to say, of course, and it will be 7 games total in this entire CAA tournament. And then JMU, that, of course, it would be a game with everything on the line. So Hofstra has something to really work with still, no matter what, if they are unable to close this one out.
Definitely, and as we approach the bottom of the 6th inning, we'll take a look at Olivia Galati's stat line so far in the game. So far, she's pitched 52 pitches. She's given up only 1 hit, that one by Morgan Heath in the first inning, but she's been able to keep her composure since then. 5 innings pitched, no earned runs given up, no runs at all, no walks, 3 strikeouts. So she's now 5 away from tying her single season record that she set last year in 378 strikeouts in a season.
So it will be Hannah Hayes who will lead things off for the James Madison Dukes, and then back to the top of the order with the only person who has gotten a hit today, and the only player for James Madison has gotten a hit against Galati in this entire CAA tournament, and it will be Morgan Heath who will lead it off for them, and then Caitlin Sandy. So only people who have gotten on base right now have reached from that 1 base hit and then a 1 error. No walks for Olivia Galati right now. She has been dealing all day long, but in the last inning, JMU starting to get a couple of good balls on her and getting a couple of good shots out there in the left field, and DJ Slew making a couple of nice plays as well, making 2 outs in that inning over in left field. So here we are right now, 2-0 to score. The Pride lead the James Madison Dukes here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3 hits on the board for the Pride, only 1 for JMU, as we just said. And leading off will be Hannah Hayes, the second baseman.
You mentioned before the past 2 catches that DJ Slew made in the last inning. That's pretty much been the key to Olivia Galati's success. If they actually put the ball into play, Hofstra's fielding has been so great despite the 1 error that they've given up by Becca Bigler in the last inning. It has been great all season. Their fielding percentage is top 25 in the nation. And it's been the key to their success going forward in this season.
And the first pitch from Galati is fouled straight back, so quickly 0-1.
as we look at Hannah Hayes, the freshman, she's definitely one of the quicker players on the team and definitely fits the JMU offensive style when she's able to bunt well. She's able to run the base paths with a lot of intelligence. She definitely has the mindset of a great base runner.
And here comes the 0-1 from Galati, and that one is lined down the right field line for a base hit. She will round first, and a little bit of trouble out there Corinne Bailey has, so she'll slide into second with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Definitely looked like Corinne Bailey just couldn't get any actual grip on it right away. And when you saw Hannah Hayes, she was looking out into right field and thinking, what should she do? Considering she had looked at first at Corinne Bailey. We're going to look at the replay as Hannah Hayes at first didn't make the decision yet as far as a very good hit going into right field. Then you look at Corinne Bailey, just cannot get on it right away, goes in between her legs, and that would make the success for her.
And the bunt from Heath moves the runner over to third base, so the first out of the inning, but there'll be a runner on third, and the Dukes are looking to try and cut the deficit to 1 as their power hitter, as Caitlin Sandy will come up, and they, of course, will now they'll have their power hitter Sarah Mooney after that, and Jalen Ford. Caitlin Sandy here, somebody who has 24 RBIs on the season, good enough for 4th on this JMU squad.
Morgan Heath pretty much doing her job, is able to put down the sacrifice bunt and advance Hannah Hayes to third base, and now she's only so far away from getting home.
First pitch from her, and that one's popped up over the press box zone. It's 0-1. She is 0 for 2 today. She flied out to left field and center field, so dropping those hands a little bit too much. Galati having her on the off-speed pitches and be able to drop them out there. As Bill Edwards will go out and talk to his All-American pitcher, so we'll see what they end up trying to do. If they want to make any adjustment-wise, obviously anything deep fly balls out there, but Ziemba has a great arm out in center field, as does Corinne Bailey out in right. DJ Slew has a pretty good arm out in left field as well, but not as good, as, of course, as the right and center fielder do. So we'll see if JMU wants to challenge them on anything hit deep for a fly ball, but of course a base hit will most likely score the run here and cut the deficit to 2-1.
When you look at Olivia Galati this season, she struggled in the beginning, considering the majority of the places that she had been pitching, they were in colder spots. The temperature was pretty low at that point in the non-conference slate. She had been struggling a lot. At this point, a very good day, probably around 75 degrees today, and pretty much everyone they have the hot hand, mainly because they're not dealing with the struggle of actually having to warm up.
And the 1-1 pitch inside just misses, so it's now 2-1. But Galati, as you were mentioning before, Brian, some of her struggles early on also happened to come because of the fact that she was unable to really go outside because of the cold weather. She was unable to pitch actually from a mound. She was pitching a lot inside, so pitching off even those artificial mounds for them, or artificial circles, even though it's not the same, is not the same for her, so she did not get that same mentality. She drives one out into her right field. We'll see if it drops, but Ziemba makes the catch, coming home and running. It gets Trippy, but Trippy makes the catch, and she is called safely. They're saying it would be an obstruction, so she ends up coming home, and the run will end up scoring, according to the umpire. Bill Edwards out immediately to talk with the home plate umpire, Don Brown, to discuss the call, because that ball was actually just a little bit off the line. It was an obstruction play if she was, but it didn't make a difference because the throw was just offline. There was no intent to obstruct, so therefore, we don't know what the call is going to be, and the umpire is going to end up discussing it right now.
Yeah, Bill Edwards is not very happy, and as we're going to look at the replay right here, also Jess Hirschfield, the third baseman, not happy at all. She was very upset, pretty much threw her glove on the ground. You look at the replay, very good job by Tessa Ziemba getting in there, and as she makes the throw, she throws it a little bit to the left side of Erin Trippy, and that's exactly where Hannah Hayes is going to be. She actually didn't even reach the plate yet.
The only reason she would be safe, Brian, would be because of an obstruction call, and that's why they would call her safe. But the throw was offline, so in my opinion, I don't know about yours, but I don't think it should have been an obstruction call there, just because by textbook, rule book situations, throw was offline. It's a judgment call by the umpire. We'll see what they end up going with. Either way, the entire Hofstra Pride bench was not happy about that one. Bill Edwards hustling out there faster than I think I've ever seen him run out to right to the home plate umpire, somebody that does not argue very often. You know, Bill Edwards But
I've actually never seen Bill Edwards run that fast, actually, to go to the umpire. But definitely, when I saw his face at first, when he got right to the umpire, he had a very dazed look on his face, and he was just like, "What? I don't understand why you called that." And when you look at the replay here, once again, still a very good, well-hit ball. Looked like it may have been able to drop, but Ziemba was able to get there. And it looks like they may be changing the call. There's actually the home plate umpire, Don Brown, speaking to Mickey Dean at the moment, the head coach of the JMU Dukes. Not sure about the facial expression on his face right now. But the throw from Tessa Ziemba going a little bit to the left of Aaron Trippi. Just barely got into Trippie's glove right before Hannah Hayes was about to slide into home plate. And she was able to make the tag and just happened to be wrong place at the wrong time. And that's why it could have possibly been an obstruction right there.
And you know what the home crowd wants here, as they're all chanting, you know what they want here for the Hofstra faithful. Well, we'll see what they end up going with the call here. In my opinion, it definitely was not an obstruction play only because of the fact that the throw was offline. There was no intent. The obstruction calls are only body attempt. So Mickey Dean doesn't look too happy right now, so it looks like the runner will end up being out. We'll see what the final call ends up being from the umpire crew of Don Brown, Chris Tacona, and Nelson Rosa.
It did seem like incidental contact, but there is definitely still a good argument for why they would call it in the first place.
There's absolutely an argument for both sides here.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you see they're still trying to discuss it over, not sure what the call is going to be. But right now there will be 2 outs, and it looks like she will stay safe. And the score goes to 2-1 in favor of Hofstra. But in this case, in favor of JMU getting that run. Bill Edwards still discussing it with the home plate umpire, trying to explain his reasoning of why Hannah Hayes should be out at home.
So with the out going out to center field, Ziemba making the play for the second out of the inning. That would end up being the third out of the inning. We'll take a look at the play one more time. That one is popped out over to Ziemba. Ziemba throws a hard ball right there, just a little bit offline. Aaron Trippi with a collision at the plate.
And as you can see, Aaron Trippi actually was trying to, she wasn't right in the baseline. She was trying to avoid getting into it, stuck her glove out there, was able to catch it. Then Hannah Hayes goes over, but then she's able to hold on to the ball, which is a very athletic move there by Aaron Trippi. Was able to keep it in her glove.
And Coach Edwards not too happy as we take a look at the screen right now. He's not happy about this call, so it looks like the run may end up staying, and it would end up being 2 outs with nobody on base. And Sarah Moody would end up coming to the plate with 2 away. This is definitely a turning point in this game.
Absolutely. When we see pretty much, as I was saying before, Aaron Trippi was trying to get out of the way. She didn't go in the baseline on purpose. It didn't seem that way at first. When you just look at how she caught that, she actually, see it, she did it right. She pretty much stuck her hand out there, was able to make the catch.
Now the question is also, did she get the foot in before the tag?
I actually don't think she ever.
So the runner will end up being saved. You hear from the crowd behind us. The Hofstra crowd not too happy, but the Pride still lead 2-1 here. Now we are in the bottom of the 6th inning, a 2-1 score. JMU just cut the deficit on a sacrifice fly from Sandy. On Sandy, and scoring was Hayes.
Looks like Bill Edwards is going to have another talk over with the home plate umpire. He is not ready to give up on this call. He has been in this business of being a coach for softball so long that he just can't believe it.
Been around the game for over 20 years here at Hofstra University, 24 years to be exact.
But on the other hand, Mickey Dean has also been in this business as well.
Both of them are obviously very experienced coaches.
They're going to start off
everybody's
again.
Pumped up here, and Sarah Mooney comes to the plate now, only trailing 1. And the first pitch from Mooney, is a called strike.
All the Hofstra fans are really on their feet right now. They're riled up, even though it's only a 1-run deficit now for JMU. They are ready for Olivia Galati to do work here in the pitcher circle and see if they can strike out the CAA Player of the Year right here. Pitcher of the Year versus Player of the Year.
0 for 2 today for Mooney, and here comes the 1-0 pitch. An off-speed pitch gets her. Called strike, so now the count is quickly 0-2. Mooney's mentioned before, 2 for 13 this season alone against Olivia Galati, but now with 2 strikeouts, also 1 RBI. And everybody on the feet here at Hofstra Softball Stadium, looking for the punch out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that one is high, so the count will go to 1-2.
A Let's Go Hofstra chant now by the Hofstra fans. Definitely, probably a first year at Hofstra Softball Stadium, or at least the first time in a very long time. Everyone's on their feet.
So Galati looks in, and here comes the 1-2 delivery. Off-speed pitch grounded past the third baseman, Jess Hirschbiel, and goes into the outfield for a base hit. So a runner will be on now with 2 away, and Jalen Ford will come to bat.
Seemed like a rise ball that came there by Sarah Mooney. Good thing that she weren't able to put it into the air, because we all obviously know the power that Sarah Mooney has. As we take a look at the replay, actually may have been somewhat of a changeup as well. Jess Hirschbiel can't get a glove on it, and neither can Becca Bigler. Goes in the outfield. But still, as I said, probably better on the ground when it comes to Sarah Mooney, better than being in the air.
So it'll be a pinch runner for Mooney over at first base. Jalen Ford will come to bat right now.
Looks like it'll be number 9, Brittany Jeans, the junior for JMU.
Jeans has appeared a couple times in this tournament. She actually appeared as a pinch runner for Sarah Mooney in the first game that they played, a win over Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. So Jeans will be on first base now with Jalen Ford to bat. Ford today, 0 for 2 today. She popped out to third base twice in the first and the 4th inning of play. 2 outs here, runner on first base, and here comes the first pitch from Galati. And that one misses up away, so count will go to 1-0. Ford with 44 RBIs on the season, a .367 hitter with 2 outs in that situation. And here comes the 1-0 pitch from Galati, and that one is fly down to left field. DJ Slew underneath it, and she will make the final out of the inning, but not before the James Madison Dukes cut the deficit to 1. It's 2-1 on 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We're heading to the top of the 7th inning with the Pride still leading 2-1. You are watching the CAA tournament right here on CAA.TV. Welcome back to Hofstra Softball Stadium. The James Madison Dukes got 1 on the board in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now the Pride will try to answer back. They lead 2-1 here. Hofstra looking to win the CAA title once again and head to the NCAA tournament. And fans, take CAA Sports with you by downloading the CAA Sports app for iPhone, Android, and iPad. Visit your respective app store and search CAA Sports today for scores, schedules, stats, videos, and much, much more. And Brian, very interesting situation there towards the end of that inning. Of course, as we just mentioned, bringing home that run, obstruction was called on Aaron Trippi, so they ended up scoring on a Caitlin Sandy sacrifice fly for the RBI, and Hannah Hayes ended up coming home to score. So now Aaron Trippi, the catcher, who was just involved in that situation, of course, with the obstruction call, she'll come up to bat right now, and she is 1 for 2 today. She doubled in the 2nd inning, a leadoff double, and she grounded out to second base in the 4th inning.
She definitely must be fired up right now and definitely wants to get these bats going for Hofstra.
And the first pitch to her is for a called strike. So Aaron Trippi, somebody who, very emotional player out there. This is her first year behind the dish as the starting catcher, but last year being that designated player and such a powerful hitter in her rookie year. And here comes the 0-1 pitch, and that one is fouled back into the screen.
And not just her. She's not just the only one fired up. Both the Hofstra dugout and the JV dugout are definitely fired up. They know this is the 7th inning now. It's a 1-run game. And this is going to be big for both teams.
For Jalen Ford, and the rest of the James Madison Dukes, they want to get out of this only down 1 run, so they have a chance to tie this thing up in the bottom of the 7th inning. They don't want their season to end as the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed for the first strikeout of the inning, and there's 1 away. Be the 3rd strikeout for Jalen Ford, and Jess Hirschbiel will come up to the plate now, who is 0 for 2 today herself. She lined out to third base, ended up being that double play where Trippi came off a little bit too early over at second base and then fouled out down the first base line for an out. So she's 0 for 2 today, and there's 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. And the first pitch to her is an off-speed pitch that she swings on and misses. So the count will be 0-1 to start off.
Change-up coming there from Jalen Ford. She's getting hot at the right time. The 7th inning definitely can't hold anything back right now.
Season on the line for the James Madison Dukes, and here comes the 0-1 pitch, and that one misses high, so it's 1-1.
Another thing to note, JMU has only given up 2 runs in this game. When they only give up 2 runs to their opponent, they are 37-2 this season.
Remarkable stat right there. JMU, very good pitching team, but also a team that can get it done on the base passes. That one is chopped over to short. Has trouble over there is Sandy, so Erspiel will end up coming into first base safely, and a runner will be on here in the top of the 7th inning with 1 out, and Becca Bigler will come to the plate.
So Caitlin Sandy at shortstop, recording the first error of the game for the JMU Dukes, and the errors in yesterday's game seem to be pretty much doomed them, and that's how Hofstra took advantage of them. It actually looks like it's going to be credited as a hit.
So they will credit that one as a hit for Jess Erspiel. Becca Bigler 0 for 2 today. She still has not gotten a hit in this entire CAA tournament. She has gotten chances to get on base, as we mentioned before, walking 3 times in this entire tournament, but she's somebody that she's going to get her first hit of the tournament. This would be a best time to do it, be able to try and expand this lead now that you only are only up 1 run here in the top of the 7th inning.
As I was mentioning before about how great JMU's record is when they hold their opponent to 0 to 2 runs. When it comes to Hofstra, when they only score 0 to 2 runs, they're 6-9, so they're under 500.
And that pitch is driven way out there into left field. That one is well gone, but well foul. Just way left at a foul pole. Bill Edwards, as always, whenever he talks to Becca Bigler, because she hits so many that just miss foul, she's always a hitter who gets ahead on the ball so many times. And Bill Edwards right down on the third base line, just pointing to Bigler, just going, go that way, go the other way, go to the right of that foul pole. And the 1-2 pitch, and that one is popped out into right center field. Underneath it is Clump, and she makes the catch for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, she was able to put it in play, but unfortunately did not get enough on that one, as that one actually went the opposite way, got under it a little bit. But going back to that foul ball, that's pretty much, when you see that foul ball, that is always how Becca Bigler does it. She definitely needs to just straighten it out, and then if she straightened every one of her foul balls out, she'd probably have around 20 home runs right now in this season. And that would be amazing.
So Maggie Hawkins comes to the plate now. She's 0 for 2 today, and the first pitch to her misses outside. So it's 1-0. The first baseman flied out to center field in the 3rd inning and fouled out to the 3rd base line in the 5th inning. She's a .327 hitter with 2 outs. That one is lined down the right field line for a base hit. Rounding second and heading into 3rd is Erspiel. She'll come in there safely. Hawkins will come into first base. So it will be a base hit for Maggie Hawkins, and the runners will be on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning.
There's a huge spot there for Maggie Hawkins, and she delivered right away. That one going over the head of Caitlin Barber there at first base, and just making sure that, but Jess Erspiel, good base running by her as well. She was able to advance to 3rd base. We're going to take a look at the replay here before Corinne Bailey comes up. Just an opposite field line drive goes over Barber's head. The right fielder, Anna Clump, not getting to it in time in order to hold Erspiel at 2nd. She's able to go to 3rd. It actually looks like Alyssa Cazzola is going to pinch run for Maggie Hawkins at first base.
Cazzola, the freshman, very speedy freshman, usually in these pinch running situations that she has done many times before. She'll come out and be at first base. Erspiel's over at 3rd base with 2 outs here, and Corinne Bailey will come to the plate. She is 0 for 2 today as well. She fouled out to the 3rd base line and flied out to right field in the 5th inning. Bailey, a .380 hitter coming in to this game on the season, a slugging percentage close to .700 on the year. She has 8 home runs and 16 doubles on the year, as well as 5 triples, which is good enough to lead the entire Colonial Athletic Association.
When you see Corinne Bailey, the way she stands in the batter's box, she stands really forward into it, so she's able to get enough power on it right away. But when you look at her right foot, when she swings that ball, she probably moves it probably around a foot forward from where it originally is when she makes contact, and that's just pretty much amazing, the way she can go that far and still have that reaction time.
Her last time up, as we mentioned, that fly out to right field, that one missed a home run by just a couple of feet, went all the way out to the warning track over there in right center field. And here comes the 0-1 delivery, and that one is popped up into the infield. Barber underneath it, and she'll make the catch for the final out of the inning. So JMU will have to come back here and only score 1 run to continue their season. If not, the Hofstra Pride will be your 2013 CAA champions. We want to thank everybody who is tuning in on a variety of ComcastSportsNet.com websites and simulcasting today on CAA.tv's coverage. CAA is a proud television and digital partner of both Comcast Sportsnet and ComcastSportsNet.com. And Brian, Olivia Galati coming out. She's been in these situations plenty of times before. Of course, we mentioned being just the 4-time CAA Pitcher of the Year, but not even just that, winning championships so many times here in the CAA. And of course, what she did last year, the experience that this Hofstra Pride team got in the NCAA tournament, all the way going to the Super Regional, just one run away, actually, and one out away from ended up going to the College World Series. So this is a team that has a lot more experience than JMU does, but JMU has a lot of firepower, and you can see it and a lot of promise in this young team and what they can do.
Yeah, when you see Olivia Galati and the way that she has approached certain situations, there's one thing to know about Olivia Galati. She loves the pressure. She loves these moments, especially in the 7th inning, up by 1 run. She's able to close it out for this Hofstra team. And so far she's got only 3 strikeouts on the day. She's 5 away from tying her single season record that she set last year for the most strikeouts for the most strikeouts per season in the program. When you look at the conference championships for the past few times, 2008 they were able to win it. They didn't win in 2009 because actually JMU upset them on their home turf. Was able to win it in 2010, 2011, not as much success as they actually ended up losing to Georgia State. Then obviously that memorable 2012 year when they ended up beating Georgia State in the CAA championship, was able to win the UCLA region in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and then was able to advance to the Super Regional to face USF in a 3-game series, but wasn't able to get it done, as you were mentioning before, 1 out away from going to the Women's College World Series. But as we start the bottom of the 7th, Olivia Galati has Erica Field, Megan Shinneberry, and Anna Clump to work with, unless we do see a pinch hitter coming up. But Galati is going to probably do work in the pitcher's circle, and she's got to do her best right here because it's her senior year.
5-6-7 for the James Madison Dukes. In the bottom of the 7th inning, they only need 1 run to stay alive. They need 2 to win the game. They are the home team in this game. As the first pitch from Galati is a fastball for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Erica Field today, 0 for 2 today. She popped out to second and flied out to left field in the 5th inning. JMU needs to win to keep their season alive. They would end up forcing another elimination game that would come right after this. Hofstra, if they win, being in the winner's bracket, will end up being the CAA champions.
Erica Field has also been a huge impact on this JMU team, considering that she comes in as the catcher, and she's catching for 2 very good pitchers. Not just done by the pitcher as well, it's done by the catcher as far as having the pitcher success. So she's been a very big help in the field as the catcher.
Galati shakes off the sign from Aaron Trippi, and here comes the 0-2 delivery. And that one, a fastball that just misses outside, as you saw there. Missed it by just inches on the outside corner.
She really wants to paint these corners right here and right now, Dan.
Field has 14 doubles on the season, the .337 hitter, and here comes the 1-2 pitch and check swing. Did she go around? Not even going to check down, so looks like she did not anyway, so the count will go to 2-2.
Everyone in the Hofstra dugout just waiting to see how Galati does here. Very excited faces here, trying to see if they can hold up for this lead.
And here comes a 2-2 delivery, and that one is popped up. Galati underneath it. She wants it herself. Hirschfield calls her off, and it'll be the first out of the inning. A little bit of communication there between, miscommunication there between Galati and Hirschfield, but the out nonetheless.
A little bit of push there by Olivia Galati onto Jess Hirschfield, just saying, get out of the way, let me do this. But that's the second time in this game that Jess Hirschfield has come into the pitcher circle and called off Olivia Galati from getting that pop-up. Hirschfield wants to make sure that she is getting that stuff because it's her final game as well, and she wants to do her job.
Well, for Hofstra, they don't want this to be their final game. They don't even want to force another game here, as that one is lined down foul, way foul, down the third base line into the outfield. Megan Shinneberry, she is 0 for 2 today. She popped out to the shortstop Bigler and fouled out to left field back in the 5th inning to DJ Slew. She got around on a good one over there beforehand. So Hofstra looking for their 10th CAA tournament victory. The only 2 times you mentioned they lost was 2009 and 2011. And 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and now it's 0-2.
Off-speed pitch there by Olivia Galati, and usually that is her signature pitch when she really wants to strike someone out. She's using it this time on an 0-1 count. and curious to see what she does on this next pitch, because considering she does have a good amount of pitches to choose from, including her knuckle curve that she has developed over the past year or so.
It only takes one runner on as JMU trails 2-1, and here comes the pitch and swung on and missed. So 2 outs away, and Hofstra is 1 out away from heading back to the NCAA tournament.
Goes with the sinker on that one. Doesn't necessarily have the full-blown off-speed pitch, but decides to actually go with the sinker, go down to the dirt with that. And the Hofstra, and definitely you see a mixture of Hofstra and JMU fans in that crowd, and you just think about how this game has gone, and it's been definitely a barn burner the whole way. It's only a 1-run game.
Here's the right fielder, Anna Clump. She's 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to shortstop and reached on an error in the 5th. And the first pitch is grounded over to first base. Hawkins has it. Does she get in time? She does. And Hofstra is heading back to the dance. They are your 2013 CAA champions.
It just seems like another year, Dan, and Hofstra is able to get it done, and they certainly do against a very tough James Madison squad. They've had a absolutely fantastic season, and they have a lot of young players, but as you see in the Hofstra stands, everyone on their feet and clapping for this Hofstra Pride team for winning the CAA championship.
But Olivia Galati, you have to credit what she has done. She had a perfect game, as well as many other things, and our own Bobby Broyles will be down there right now with Olivia Galati in just a few moments and see if he's ready. And so the All-American Bobby Broyles, take it away.
First of all, talk about winning the CAA championship once again in your senior season.
We are so excited, especially being a senior. Having the fans here behind us to support us is just, I can't even describe the feeling.
Talk a little bit about your performance in the circle today, especially in the 6th inning with the run scoring and the call at the plate. How were you able to rebound after that?
We kind of just went out there. I mean, Tessa had a great throw. Trippy did a great job. Unfortunately, the call, she was safe, but we had to make sure that we went out there and just did like it didn't even happen and just go after the next batter.
How far do you think this team can go into the NCAA tournament this year?
All the way.
Congratulations, Olivia. 2013 CAA softball champions, the Hofstra Pride. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Well, thank you, Bobby, for that.
Thanks.
Olivia Galati, maybe no question. We'll see if she ends up winning the most outstanding player in this tournament. Of course, a perfect game that she threw yesterday. Which was the second no-hitter and first perfect game in CAA tournament history. He's now has 5 perfect games, tied for the most in D1 history. For Hofstra, another CAA title being brought back here to the campus of Hofstra University. And we'll get ready to hear some of the announcements for the CAA tournament, all-tournament team, and the most outstanding players.
We extend a special thank you to Hofstra University for hosting the CAA Softball Championship. And please direct your attention to the field where Ashley Bolton, Assistant Commissioner of Championships from the CAA, will be handing out the awards. First, we would like to recognize the 2013 Softball All-Tournament Team. After your name is read, please come forward to receive your trophy. From the University of Delaware, Mara Andrews and Shelby Jones.
A couple of Delaware players there, and they ended up falling yesterday to Towson in an elimination game.
From James Madison University, number 33, Morgan Heath. Also from James Madison University, number 12, Jalen Ford.
You got to credit the way Ford is not even just hit, but the way she has pitched in the games. And today she still pitched a remarkable game, 5 hits and 2 runs, only given up. Unfortunately, getting a loss and just being outdueled by Olivia Galati. The ceremony right here, adding more to that trophy list that she's gotten this season. Not only was she a first-team All-CAA player, but a CAA Player of the Year and named to the All-Tournament team.
Number 32, Aaron Whitney.
Trippy had a double in this game today. She's been completely running well, of course, with Olivia Galati right behind her.
least you got to look at how Tori Rocha did in the CAA championship game just today, getting that 2-run double.
Also from Hofstra University, number 10, Chloe Fitzgerald.
So the freshman Chloe Fitzgerald bringing home a couple of awards. A lot of promise there in the leadoff spot for them, especially with Rachel Senator going down earlier in the season and not being able to play.
Throughout the championship, the 2013 CAA Softball Championship Most Outstanding Player is number 2, Olivia Galati from Hofstra University.
I don't think there was any question about that one. Olivia Galati, but coming into this game, 13 innings pitched, 4 hits, 18 strikeouts. After today's numbers, she has 4 more strikeouts and another 7 innings pitched, only giving up 3 more hits and 1 more run. So Olivia Galati adding to that trophy case as she has been doing the last few years.
Is James Madison. Let's give the Duke a round of applause for their outstanding play all year long. And now the championship awards and trophy. The Colonial Athletic Association congratulates the pride of Hofstra University, the 2013 softball champions. We ask that the team captains and head coach Bill Edwards accept the championship trophy on behalf of Hofstra University.
Well, there it is. The Hofstra Pride are your 2013 CAA champions. They will be representing the Colonial Athletic Association going into the NCAA tournament. A remarkable moment here from Hofstra Softball Stadium, and what a remarkable couple days we've had here in the CAA tournament.
Applause for all our participants.
It's definitely been a very long 3 days, and sometimes didn't think it was going to get on right away, considering all the rain that we had in the first couple days. Just seeing how everything has unfolded in front of our eyes, it's definitely a very exciting CAA championship that we just saw. When you saw the controversial play at the plate, when you got their first run of the game, you saw the 2-run double that Tori Rocha had earlier in the game, and it was just a lot of emotion that just came out of them, especially for Olivia Galati in her final year with the team. And as you see all of them put on their CAA champions t-shirts to show who they are and who they're going to be representing in the NCAA tournament, hope that they may go as far as maybe they did last year.
Well, as Hofstra dons those CAA champion t-shirts there, we have to also remind you to come back to CAA.tv beginning on May 22nd for free live coverage of the entire CAA baseball championship from Veterans Memorial Park. Search CAA, in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Visit CAA Sports for details on game times and other championship information. That will be down there on the campus of JMU. But Hofstra right now, with the banner in front of them, another CAA championship banner, their 10th with the CAA name on it, and they are the CAA champions once again.
There's a smile coming from Bill Edwards, as I was mentioning before. Like he knows what he has coming up next, but they're gonna enjoy this moment for now, but then get right back to work right after that.
So there are your CAA champions, and we want to thank you so much for tuning into all the games here right on CAA.tv, starting from Game 1 back on Wednesday up to the championship game now. We thank you so much for listening and watching, of course, to all the covers that we have brought you. Well, for Brian McDonald, I'm Dan Savarino. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will, of course, see you in James Madison University. Don't forget to tune into that one for the baseball championship next week.